Hi, everybody. My name is Mike McDonald. I'm the president of KidVenture Camps, and we appreciate you joining us today for the next in our series of live streams. Today, it is all about Leads, which is our teen camp, 13 to 16-year-olds. And joining me today and helping us out, many of you might not know Nada, but Nada Galan is kind of new to KidVenture's full-time team, but not new to KidVenture. She's been with us for many years. Nada, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Like Mike said, this is actually my seventh year with KidVenture. I was a KidVenture, I was a leads counselor, leads director, and then manager. Now I just recently joined the full-time team.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we really felt it important to have you on today, Nada, is your experience with leads has been pretty extensive. As a counselor, as a director, you've managed those lead sites, so you have a great insight in that program. What do you think is in your opinion is so important about that leads program?
Just having those open conversations with the leads program, it truly is what the word leads is, creating leaders within our teenagers, making sure they're leading by example for our younger campers, and just doing community service together, watching them grow as they go through the leads program has been a great part for
Yeah, I
me.
love the program.
Mhm.
Sort of that. I always think of 13 as this crossroads, right?
Mhm.
You're growing up, you're still a kid, but the decisions that you sort of tend to make at 13 and 14 and 15 and 16 are the kind of decisions that are important, right? And when we started out creating the Leads program, yes, we wanted to have an opportunity for our campers to have fun and have a great adventure, just like all of our programs, right? Wanted to learn, but we really wanted to kind of have a specific focus with the Leads program that gave them an opportunity at that crossroads to make great decisions, right? To have really strong mentors beside them, to learn how to foster relationships and to be a leader by going and providing community service opportunities like we do. Yes, they're involved in sports and other things, which and we're going to talk all about those kind of things. But at the end of the day, man, we really just wanted to have a summer camp program for those teen kids that set them on a course to be successful and make really good, strong decisions in the future. And I've been really proud of that program and excited about 23 and everything new that's coming.
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. We'll turn our attention to the agenda. Before we get cranking on everything leads, I'm going to play a short video for everybody. This is our 2023 hype video, and it gives you a pretty good idea of what we're about and sort of our objectives, no matter what camp program that is. Then we'll turn our attention to the basics. What does it mean to be a Leads camp, or what's the age range in that one? Where that camp program is being held, all that good stuff. And then we'll talk about the curriculum. What do we actually do in the Leads program? Show some pictures. We'll talk about those activities and field trips and everything that we do. And then after that, we'll talk about a little more logistic stuff. How does a kid come to camp? What do they pack to camp? And then finally, we'll talk about what I think is the most important part of any camp program, whether it's a Discover, Explore, or Lead, and that's the camp team, right? Because at the end of the day, and I think you probably agree with me, Nada, that it's the quality of that team, those counselors, that directors, that really make that camp program exceptional, or not. And we pride ourselves on that being probably the most important thing at KidVenture for your kid. We'll have a Q&A at the very end. So as we go along and you have a question or one pops up in your head, don't try to keep it there. Throw it in the comment section because we can see those. When we get to the Q&A section, we'll refer to those questions there. We'll answer those questions for you, and hopefully you'll be much more well-informed about that program. Whether you've been with us in the Leads program or whether you have a new kid that's intending to join us at the Leads program, our goal today is to inform you and to try to provide you that information so you can make a great decision. Well, it's great having you with me, Nada. Let's get cranking. What do you say?
Yeah, let's get
All right, I'm
going.
going to turn our attention to the video, and we'll chill out for a couple minutes and let you watch that, and then we'll be right back with you.
Growing up is a journey.
It's an adventure!
Along this journey, our kids will grow, they will learn, and they will experience the world around them.
Those experiences and those opportunities that they're a part of will help shape who they are and what they will become.
This is Kidventure. Kids need the chance to explore their worlds, to sing out loud,
to take a chance on something new,
Kids need to believe that nothing is impossible.
to be part of something important, to help someone up.
to unplug and plug in to one another.
And kids need to be with role models who want to make a difference in your child's life.
Kids in camp now more than ever.
For 29 years, Kidventure has been helping parents shape these opportunities and providing for the type of experiences that build confidence, that teach kindness, and foster lasting friendships for our children. Join us at one of our many day camps in Austin, Dallas, or Houston, or our overnight camp programs in the Texas Hill Country. We invite you to be a part of this life-changing adventure we call Kidventure.
There you go. I never get tired of that video, by the way.
Yeah, I like it.
I think I've watched it maybe a million times now, I think. All right, let's talk about the basics of the LEADS program. Here we go. Why don't I let you take this, Nate, and talk to us sort of about what makes up a LEADS camper.
Yeah, so the lead campers are those students in 6th grade going through 9th grade. It's really our older explorers that look forward going into these programs next following year. So that age between 11 and 15 is really what makes up the LEADS program. And like kind of like Mike said earlier, it's that pivotal stage in their life where we can kind of form true leaders and characters in them that we bring out during the camp day. So our ratio is very much like our explorers, 1 to 10. They are in co-ed groups with their counselors, and they're just same like our explorers. It's 20 groups of 20 mixed. The only difference between LEADS and explorers, I would say, is everything scaled up to their age, making them more challenging. It's age appropriate for that, and then having them form a part of everything that we're doing. So we'll combine counselors sometimes and combine groups in the LEADS program just to get them part of a bigger group.
Yeah, and when you're 13, 14, 15, 12, right in there, you really need a separate program, something that is your own. No 6th grader wants to hang out with a 5th grader from elementary school, right? And that's just the way it is, because you're way too cool when you're in 6th grade for that. And I think we've done a really good job over the years really curating the kind of summer camp that both a parent and a 6th, 7th, or 8th grader likes. That's not an easy task, to be honest with you, because most 6th graders don't like anything that their parents like, or vice versa, right? And so, but I really feel like we've done a really great job with the curriculum, with some of the things that we do in that program, and really separating that program from all our other programs to make that feel like it's its own unique place for those kids. All right, let's talk a little bit about where the program is being offered. So currently, the camp program only exists in Houston, but we do have plans to bring that program elsewhere. So in Houston, that camp program runs in 3 locations. Camp St. Teresa, which is in that memorial area, kind of inside the loop, if you will. Camp Banff is new for us this year. That takes place in the Champions Willowbrook area. And then Camp St. Thomas More, which is in the Meyerland area off the 610 loop south, is our other location. Any of those locations you can sign up for. They have a certain number of weeks. All of them, I believe, Nada, will begin on June 5th. And some of them have 11 weeks, some of them maybe a little bit less. We just need you to refer back to the website and that on the LEADS page for those specific dates. You can pick and choose any weeks you want to, but camp's always Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then there's a post-camp option until 6 o'clock. All right, so there's kind of the basics, if you will. Let's talk about curriculum. Now, one of the things that I think makes KidVenture unique is the fact that we don't just run camp for camp's sake. Since our inception in 1994, one of the things that we wanted to do was create a camp program that was very intentional and purposeful, meaning we wanted to design things to do in camp that provided for a specific outcome. Those outcomes are things like your kid going home with a greater sense of self-esteem and self-worth, your kid going home having made friends, your kid going home feeling great about themselves, trying new things, had a ton of successes, maybe had some failures, and that's okay too, because we learn from all of those. I think that's the power of camp. When done right, camp becomes very intentional. So along the way, somewhere along that 29-year journey of KidVenture, we created what we call the 4 cornerstones. That is our curriculum. We sort of boiled everything down to what is it that a kid growing up needs in their life? What comes naturally for them that provides opportunities for them to grow happy and healthy? And for us, that's 4 things. The first is physical activity. We believe kids need to be physically active, plain and simple. 2, we think kids need the opportunity to explore their world, right? To discover things, to make independent decisions. Through exploration, we try new things. Some things work out, some things we fail at. That's all part of that exploration and essential for someone's growth. The third is creativity. Our kids need the opportunity to create, right? To use their imagination, to think, and to do so individually and also in groups. And the last is reflection. Often pushed aside and not thought of because our lives go a million miles an hour and we write in 140 characters and everything else. But the opportunity to reflect on what we experienced and what we did provides a greater opportunity for learning in the future, especially, I think, in our LEADS program. Wouldn't you say, Nada?
Yeah, so reflection is a big one for us in the LEADS program. We really go down to those character values like respect and reflecting what reflection, like what respect is to them. The cool part about the cornerstones for LEADS is a lot of it is camper led. They have their counselors there to guide them through things. But with the interaction with their counselors and the campers, a lot of it is camper led. And so we really let them explore and be creative with the curriculum. We may think it's going one way, but they have another form of thinking. So we give them the opportunity to really explore those options for them.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think, and no matter what age that our kids come to KidVenture, that reflection piece is and is becoming even a more important part of what we do at camp. So, super. All right, so let's talk about the actual curriculum activities and what we're doing there. At the end of the day, personal growth is one of the things I think that we're trying to achieve, right? Especially at this group in terms of the LEADS kids. Field trips we take every week. We'll talk a little bit about more in depth after we go through sort of all these activities. Core discussion. You want to talk about that, Nada?
Yeah, so court discussion is one of my favorite things to do with the LEADS. So we take character values throughout the week. We kind of have open discussions with our campers. You know, what does respect look like in a person? What does respect look like in an environment? How do we show respect? So it's really an open conversation with our campers, and we allow them within a safe space, being respectful to each other, to have a conversation between each other, and then also with our counselors, kind of guiding them through that conversation. And I think that's what makes LEADS LEADS, because it gives them the opportunity to reflect on who they are and then the people they surround themselves with.
That's great. Outdoor adventures, yes. We're outdoors. This is the summertime and we want to be outdoors. I would say that the majority of our outdoor activities probably take place more in the morning time than they do the afternoon time, when it's not maybe 105 degrees. But moving our bodies and being outdoors is a big part of certainly what we do. Sport of the week. Every week we have a specific sport that we teach and train and build up for our kids. You want to talk a little bit more about that, Nada?
Yeah, so sport of the week, it's that physical aspect in our curriculum. We really encourage taking it day by day, learning the skills. So if we're doing basketball for sport of the week, you know, the basic skills for basketball one day. At the end of the summer, we have a big thing called Tournament Champs, and they get to show what they learned during the sport of the week and compete between sites. It's so much fun. this year, all of our sites are doing all the same sports, so we'll really get to watch them what they learn throughout the week.
It's great.
Hmm.
New friendships, right? I mean, I know this is a huge part of any camp program, but probably, Nada, I think probably most important, right? Every kid that's 13 years old or 12 years old worries, stresses about having friends, right? I mean, it's a huge part of growing up. Fostering those relationships and creating opportunities for those kids to come together and create new friends is probably a huge part of the program, would you say?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed the friendships that created during the leads program. I really like to enjoy watching my older leads that I've had throughout the years kind of show the way for the younger ones. And at the end of the summer, they're friends and they're in the same mindset. But it's really the fostering of the friendships between each other where they're reflecting on one another, and they just create great friendships throughout the summer.
To what degree do you think that the culture at camp at Leeds and how we run the program provides for the opportunity for kids to meet new friends and develop those friendships now?
Yeah, I think that's the most important part of leads. We allow them to have time to decompress, to talk to one another, especially during our lead times. That's the time where they get to meet each other, get to know each other more on a personal level. When we go on field trips, they get to see the other lead sides, and we're constantly seeing each other, so they're looking forward to seeing those other lead campers and other sites. Um, and we're really hyped up the leads program to where our explorers are looking forward to coming on to become a lead camper.
That's great. Community service. This has been one of the tenets of the program from the very beginning. Talk to everyone about the community service project, what that looks like, and why is it that we provide that opportunity for these kids?
Yeah, so community service is a big part of the leads program. We provide it once a week, whether on site or we go off site sometimes. What we do with community service is we kind of lead community service with the reflection piece. Why is community service important? Why is it community service to our neighborhoods and everything around us? After community service, we kind of reflect on what they learned, what they enjoyed about community service. And through community service, they also get logged hours either for schools, we'll give them certificates, letting them know that they have community service. If our campers come all throughout the summer, some of them go back to school with about 20 hours of community service.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, certainly. If you're working to develop a leader, I think one of the best ways is to teach somebody how to give back. Right, the amount of lessons and opportunities just in that endeavor alone really help provide for greater leadership skills. Certainly, a big piece of the Leads program, something we're proud of. Team building. It's something we do even with our Discover program, right? The 3s, 4s, and 5s. But I think team building probably takes on even more of an importance in the Leads program. Can you talk about that a little bit more and kind of explain what that looks like from a curriculum standpoint?
Yeah, so for team building for leads, we kind of tell them what the goal is. At the end of this team building activity, you should have accomplished this. Like the helium stick on the picture, you should have to pick up the helium stick up in the air and then bring it back down. How they get there is totally up to them. And as the counselors, they kind of guide them, giving them tips, and it really opens up for them to have conversations between one another and respectful conversations. Hey, this is not working for us, but let's try this. And that's really what makes the lead site. Having this conversation, working together to come up with a solution, it's a crucial part for leads.
Yeah, so whether that's trust, cooperation, problem solving, communication, there's a lot of activities that we put out there to those kids to have them try to accomplish. And things can get kind of dicey at times, right? But man, they're put in situations where they have to work together, right? And they have to communicate appropriately and effectively in order to accomplish something. They love it, right? Because our Leads kids tend to have a little bit of a competitive nature too as well. But it's always really cool to see those kids finally get something done that they felt like there's no way we're going to be able to get this thing done, right? I love having that part of our curriculum sort of embedded into the Leads program. maybe a couple more here. Oh, I think that might be it. Yeah, we do. And Nada pointed this out, I don't know, kind of subtly, but I think it's real important. Yes, we structure our itinerary during the week with a lot of activities, but we purposefully um, build in things like Lead Lounge, where it's just an opportunity for those kids to hang, right? And to talk and to communicate and do things on their terms. I don't think I would want to have a program where every hour and every minute of the day was scheduled in with something that we wanted them to do. I think what's important about the Leads program in particular is that we built in these blocks of times for them just to do their thing, right? And because that's what kids want to do, right? They just want to hang. Um, Now we don't hang all day long because we got a lot of stuff going on. But we do build in those times, and I think that balance, right, of structured activities and the opportunity to create friendships and just talk is super important.
Yeah, that Leads Lounge is a very important time for them. It gives them a chance to just grow with one another. Leads Lounge look very different for various sites. I had one year with one Leads Lounge, they just like to knit, and that's within each other, they just knitted the whole Leads Lounge, and it was 45 minutes of them
Right.
knitting and then walking through that. And I had other Leads Lounge where they just like to play board games and connect for competitions. So that Leads Lounge is it's really the opportunity for them just to grow and make to hear that we are listening to them and their opinions matter. So that Leads Lounge is very important to them.
Yeah, thanks for that. You know, I can't imagine. I mean, at 13, I guess you can stay home and do nothing or watch TV or play Game Boy all day long. But the opportunity to get together with other kids and be a part of something like that, I think is so much more advantageous than hanging out at home and doing nothing really. The field trip program, we touched on that a little bit, Nada, in the activities. I want to talk about that maybe a little bit more, if we could. Field trips, they take place, I think you mentioned once a week, right?
So our field trips are taking place once a week. The times vary between 9 and 2 p.m. They are riding on buses with seatbelts, air conditioning, all that stuff. In the Houston area, since our Leads program is taking field trips, we're going to Top Golf, Typhoon. I'm trying to think of more on top of my head, but those field trips are more built up for them. We're also going to California Pizza Kitchen where they get to create their own pizza. So it's just scaled up to their age level instead of bringing it up down. So their field trips look a little different. It might look a little more extensive or more physical, but it's really what they enjoy.
Can parents find and kids find a list of those field trips on the website?
Yes, so as we're booking field trips, they're getting updated on the website daily.
Okay, that's great. And typically, are there certain days of the week that field trips typically happen? Are they kind of all over the map in terms of that?
So the Leads, it's going to be Thursdays this year, all Lead sites.
Okay. All right, that makes it easy enough then. Super. Fantastic. All right, I want to turn our attention to coming to camp, more logistics kind of stuff, okay? I want to talk about sort of that packing list, if you will. How does a camper come to camp, and what do they wear and bring in order to be successful? If you could talk about that a little bit with us, that would be amazing.
So yeah, they'll come to camp with their official camp shirt. So for them, it's actually a gray shirt with very much this symbol right here on the corner. Athletic wear, tennis shoes, closed toe is preferred. Just anything that they can move around with. Sunscreen, if we're outside, we tell our Leads and remind them, put on your sunscreen right before we go out. And if we're there for a couple minutes, reminding them to keep putting that on. And at lunch, if they're not ordering lunch, we highly recommend refillable water bottles for all of our Leads. They carry that throughout the day through sites. And then just fill up as they need throughout the day. And then a bag to keep all their stuff in, whether it's a backpack or just a regular bag, so they can carry their things. Swimsuit, it will only be when we go on field trips, and we'll let them know. But when we go on field trips, they'll wear their swimsuit and their official camp shirt on top. That way they're easy to spot for us.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the water bottle a little bit. Essential to what we do. This is the water bottle that KidVenture sells on their camp store. It holds a lot of water and ice, keeps that water and ice cold all day long. One of the things I love about this and any water bottle, that it has a big mouth on it. The reason that's important is because it's easy to throw ice down in that thing and fill it up. So please make sure you have a great water bottle for those kids. The summer's hot. We're very active. We need to keep our kids hydrated. So, okay, so there's a packing list of things. How about maybe optional items or what not to bring to camp?
Yeah, so optional items depending on our camper, if they need medications, contacting with that director on site so we can get that sorted out. Hat, I highly recommend anytime we're outside. I always tell our campers, bring it in your bag just in case. And then a snack. We do provide snacks, but if they want their own snack, they're welcome to bring so. Electronics, we do not use cell phones throughout the camp day, not even during Leads Lounge. They come to camp, and if they have their phone on them, we tell them we're going to either lock it up or you put it in your backpack, and we do not take them out. If there's an emergency situation, directors will contact parents, but we don't encourage electronics. We try to unplug for the most part. Just really interacting and being active during the camp day. They won't really have time to be on their electronics anyways.
So Nada, I think of your average 13-year-old kid, and you tell them okay, so you're gonna go all day long, not on your cell phone. That's got to be the biggest freak out in the world. I mean, or the parent that maybe is viewing this and is thinking, there's no way my 13-year-old can go an entire day without being on social. Are these kids freaking out during the day, or how's this going down?
No, so we have repeated campers that have come through our programs, Discovers and Explorers. They know that we have jam-packed schedules and they're ready to have fun. But we, as counselors and the directors for the leagues, we try to have upfront conversations with them and tell them, you won't need your electronics. It's not an important part of your life. And really tell them that they're more than just their cell phone and the social media, right? They should be connecting with one another.
Yeah, they can actually connect with real people in real time, not through a screen, right? I know it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but it's just telling them and being honest with them, you really don't need them, And I think after the first day and they realize everything that we're doing throughout the camp day, they realize there's no use for it at camp. So they gladly put it away every morning.
I'm happy to put mine away, by the way. I did not fall into that category of needing to be on there all day long. I promise you now. All right. Thank you for that very much. I want to turn our attention to I know you and I both feel is the most important part of the program as it pertains to our kids, right? And our parents, I believe. And that's our camp team, right? I mean, I've preached this for a long time, right? You can have mediocre facilities and a dusty field and a half blown up ball, and if you have really engaged staff who love kids, who want to share their time and talents with them, then you've got a good camp program, right? Or you can have the best facilities in the world and all the amenities, and if you have a lackluster camp team that just wants to be there for a job, it's a failure as a camp, right? We choose to have both, right? And I think we take a lot of pride in selecting, training, and maintaining the best possible camp staff. But we start off, right, with really great applicants, right? And a lot of those are education students, maybe teachers. They're already plugged in the lives of kids, right, because they want to be there, right? They want to make a difference. We should simply give them this opportunity in the summertime where they can maybe let their hair down, if you will, and get a little more hands-on and with the kids than a classroom setting. All of our staff are first aid CPR certified. That is rare to find. Because in the state of Texas, if you're a licensed camp program, all you need is one person that's first aid and CPR certified. All of ours, every single one is first aid and CPR certified. We feel like that's a standard that's minimal for us. Training, camp for us starts June 5th this year. We could start a week before that, but we choose not to because we want to make sure we have all the time possible to train our staff and prepare them for summer camp. So we take a week before camp even starts and have a thing that we call Counselor Conference, where we're training our staff up on everything from safety to special needs to behavior issues to customer service, all of our systems and our protocols. We train those staff on that. We feel that that's super important. Nada right now is wearing one of our uniforms. I'm wearing another one. But you'll see all of your staff in a uniform. And then in addition to that uniform, they'll have a badge on. And it's a big badge. It's not a small one. It hangs around their neck. On the front side, it has their name. You know exactly who everybody is. On the flip side, what you can't see is a list of their campers, maybe any special needs or allergies or anything like that that our counselors need to know. And most importantly, they love what they do, right? If you ask your camper, like after the summer is over, what they remember most about camp, 9 times out of 10, they'll mention the counselor's name, right? And that's when you know that camp worked well. You know, they'll forget that game of Gaga and that field trip to, you know, Typhoon Falls, but they're not going to forget that counselor that made a difference in their life and helped them create friendships, and that will probably stick with them for the rest of their life, in fact. So that's why we believe our camp team is the most important part of what we do. All right. Anything to add about camp team, Nada? That cover it all?
Yeah, I think you covered the most of it. I take a lot of pride in the Leeds camp team because I also like our lead campers. I told them there are our lead counselors. So a lot of explorers, campers, and counselors kind of look up to them, and by the end of the summer, they all want to be lead campers and counselors because we take a lot of pride in the leads, and we really build them up as far as training them, making sure they're trained well and expect anything.
And some of our Leeds campers have grown up to become
Yes.
counselors in the summertime too as well. And they make amazing counselors, by the way, because they get it, right? They understand the culture and what we're trying to achieve. So there's another reason maybe to be part of the Leeds program as sort of like a farm team, right, for the counselors.
Yeah. The past 2 years in summer, I had 2 lead campers that I've seen at their grown-up jobs, and we have two of them being directors this year. So it's just been great
Oh, that's
watching them grow
amazing.
up. Yeah.
So awesome. All right. I'm going to turn our attention to Q&A. I mean, right now, I don't see any questions on there. That usually means one of two things. Either we've done such an amazing job that we answered everybody's question before they even had the opportunity to throw in the comment, or people just don't have questions. So I guess if I don't see any questions, Nate, are you excited about the summer?
Yeah, I'm so excited. We're counting down the days here, so we're ready.
I know. It is coming quicker than you can even know. If you have not registered for Leeds, I know we still have spaces in the Leeds program. If you have questions about the Leeds program, you can always call or email. Email is houston@kidventure.com, and you can always call at 713-960-8989. We are recording this live stream, and it will be posted to the Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel. So if you missed it, you'll be able to see it there. If you have a friend or family member that wants to see it too, point them in that direction for that. With that, Nada, great job today, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your insight. It was great having somebody who's been so entrenched in the Leeds program over the years to answer those questions for me and to expand on what we talked about today. Super excited about the summer of 2023. We wish everybody the best, and we look forward to seeing all of you this summer. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.